There is a trend that I'm seeing locally as well as on the internet, and it's been around for a long time, but it's well-educated, privileged people on the left cosplaying revolution, playing at poverty, and playing at being a part of the working class. It's really gross. It's easy to spot, and some of these people are like, yeah, bring on the Civil War. Let's do it. So we're going to chit-chat about that for just a few minutes because I really want to ask you politely but firmly to please shut up. So you folks with your advanced degrees, and when you're cosplaying at being part of the working class, you don't really have a lot of skin in the game. It's not your family who's going to be the first ones hit. You have a lot of insulation from what you claim, what you think will happen, or what will happen in this quote-unquote civil war. You are not on the front lines. You have a huge buffer. It is families that are on the margins that will be the hardest hit, and that's why you don't hear them advocating for such nonsense. I want to let the bougie middle class in on a little reality, is that the far right has been preparing for stockpiling, planning, holding, acquiring militias and breeding their God's army for generations now in preparation for this civil war, which some of you seem to think will go in your favor. I want to let you know, as someone who is from Michigan, which has a really, really strong militia country, and I live in a very rural area, very conservative area, we don't stand a chance. Okay, I really want to emphasize that, liberals. We don't stand a chance. I'm not sure if you think that your doctoral degree or your bougie climate-controlled home in the suburbs will protect you, but I'm going to ask you to stop advocating for that. I'm going to ask you to instead use your privilege to do everything you can to tamp down the nonsense that some of these cosplayers are advocating for. That's how you can be helpful. Because when it comes down to violence, it hurts and people lose their lives. And I recognize that you have not ever had to deal with anything like that, nor do you know anyone who has ever dealt with anything like that. That's why you find it kind of fun and sexy to pretend like you're on the front lines of a revolution. First of all, I want you to know that if you don't know how to cook your own meals and dress wounds, I mean, if you don't have basic survival skills, which you don't, liberals, you don't. I love a lot of yous, but you don't. You're screwed. You're absolutely screwed. And I just keep seeing this playing out with people with this cosplaying, and it's gross, really gross. And that's why I don't organize with those people, because I'm embarrassed to be around them. War is horrible, and people who have been through it and see it and have seen it, if they have any sense about them, they don't want anything to do with it. And they will do everything to stay away from those of you who are cosplaying because you're dangerous. You're foolish and naive. It is the children in the margins that will be harmed the worst. And I don't understand why anyone would advocate for this. And furthermore, on that point, there seems to be this notion of yeah, let's just get this war underway so then we can rebuild something better. I'm not seeing a lot of cohesion on the left. I'm seeing a lot of nonsense. And so I'm questioning, who the hell do you think's going to lead this rebuilding? What do you think the end game is here? Again, it's kind of, it's clearly magical thinking that you think that this, a magical fairy is just going to come in and fix this. Revolution and civil war is awful. And that's why we don't advocate for war. ever. That's why we're nonviolent, because that's the answer. Those of you who want to take a different approach, I'm concerned about you, and I have been, and I've spoken up against it, and I really see the disconnect between reality and what you're saying. So I hope that you can take those thoughts from a woman who lives on the margins, who has experienced violence, who is aware of what it's like to be knocked unconscious or have people unalived in her backyard, and really seen some ugly things in my life. It's not a TV show, and you don't come out on top if this was to actually happen and play out in the United States of America. We're goners.